Hi, I'm Michael Kingsbury. I'm the writer-director of GULAG Magadan. This is my director commentary 3 on the film, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. As we pick up the film here, it's a long work scene in the Gulag. I wanted to make it very firm and substantiated to the audience that most of the life in the Gulag was working, slave labor, hard labor, not sitting around and philosophizing. So I wanted to make that impression very early that there was a lot of hard work. And these scenes are long and they're hard and they're fundamental to the films. We're coming up to a very important voiceover in the Gulag Magadan film that is based upon Solzhenitsyn's last essay, his 1974 essay of Live Not by Lies, which is about passive resistance. And within 24 hours of Solzhenitsyn writing that essay and distributing it, he was forcibly expelled from the USSR. That was how effective his essay, Live Not by Lies, is. So I wanted to use that essay as a voiceover in this film. And we're going to begin the first voiceover. So listen carefully. The actor that plays the role of the character, Larissa, is the one reading this voiceover.
We have been so hopelessly dehumanized for today's modest ration of food. We are willing to abandon all our principles, our souls, and all efforts of our predecessors, and all opportunities for our descendants. But just don't disturb our fragile existence. We fear only to lag behind herd and to take step alone and suddenly find ourselves without white bread, without heating gas, and without Moscow registration. And simplest and most accessible key to our self-neglected liberation lies right here: personal non-participation in lies. Will not raise his hand to vote for a proposal with which he does not sincerely sympathize, will vote neither openly nor secretly for a person whom he considers unworthy or of doubtful abilities, will not allow himself to be dragged to meeting where there can be expected forced or distorted discussion of question, will immediately talk out of meeting, session, lecture, performance, or film showing if he hears speaker tell lies or purvey ideological nonsense of shameless propaganda.
I don't think leaking the documents is the real reason they sent me here.
What's that?
Something more.
Well, my commissar always told me that even if West knew about human rights abuses here, nothing could be done because the media in West is controlled by the same Marxists.
I began to think that is true, too. Ethan,
That's a very important point right there. Not only do we finish the Solzhenitsyn Live Not by Lies essay about people who are afraid to speak out for fear of losing their white bread and their Moscow registration, for fear of stepping out of line with political correctness of communism. We finish that great essay, and then we go into this scene right here in which they ponder and talk about the futility of trying to get word out to the West, because even in the West, the same Marxists control the media. And this is very important for a lot of people to realize. And the proof of this, why? I mean, where is the proof that the Marxists in the West control the media, as these two actors tell us? Where's the proof? Well, the proof is in when the Holodomor genocide occurred in 1932-33. The media in the West suppressed all information about that, even though it was reported by the Manchester Guardian with Gareth Jones. The media in the West supported it. The media was working in collusion with the Marxists to cover up the genocide of 10 million people in the Holodomor. And it covered up the genocide all the way leading up to World War II, during World War II, and after World War II in the Soviet Union. They covered it all up. The media in the West is under, in large part, not always. I mean, there were a few. There was like William Randolph Hearst, and there were a few independents who were basically character assassinated and destroyed. And let's move on to this next scene here.
Kurganov documents published by Solzhenitsyn have no effect. Media censorship even in West. It has been a long day. I am very tired. Tomorrow will be longer.
As a side note here, this scene was shot in about 103-degree temperatures, extremely hot. It was in a very small, tiny box theater in Silver Lake, which is a district of Los Angeles, east of Hollywood. And they rent out theater spaces. People who love theater, they make and they support these very tiny theaters in Los Angeles. I mean, they're the true artists of Los Angeles. And you can rent their theaters. Sometimes they have okay sound, and sometimes the sound needs, you have to bring your own materials to try to improve it. But in many cases, they don't have a lot of luxurious air conditioning. And this was shot in about 102 degrees. It was extremely hard to shoot in this temperature. One of the reasons is that the red camera that we were using was, I think it was a Red Scarlet, and the fans, the software and the fans on the Red Scarlet don't ramp down the fans during the take as much as it does on the Dragon. Although it was pretty good. Working with high heat and a red camera, a Red Scarlet is always more of a challenge than it would be if you didn't. So you have to mic closer. Everyone has to, the boom operator had to mic a lot closer. This and that, but they're in these hot clothes. They are in these very hot clothes. Between takes or between scenes, they'd be taking off these woolly jackets. And I would try to, I put charcoal on the faces just to keep the sweat off of it. I mean, that's how hot it was. And they're trying to pretend that they're in a cold gulag. And in this scene, they're helping each other. I believe they're sharing garlic, and one of the main antibiotics that was currency in the Gulag. They would often grow the garlic in the summer, and then they would try to hide it and store it. And of course, the cruelty of the extermination camps was that the Marxist guards would often tear up the vegetable gardens or the herb gardens that they would try to plant and hide during the summer because they wanted to kill the people. They didn't want the people to live. And this is their feet on the previous day when we were up 2,500 feet higher, and much deeper, 3 feet of snow, much higher, deep snow. Several of the cast members had very cold feet, cold enough feet that it's on the verge of frostbite, and extreme pain. And when the pain gets so bad that that they can't perform an act, that's when you have to move to a lower elevation. And let's watch this scene. Move into the next scene.
I have some garlic. It will prevent infection.
And this is one of the key scenes when the lead character, Elizabeth, has abdominal pain from being raped, being gang raped multiple times, and eventually, the tearing and the ripping can cause severe internal injuries. And I wanted to portray this as the film. As I have said before, the film is not voyeuristic. It doesn't show the act of rape. It shows the aftermath of rape, and it shows the damage that it causes, physical and psychological. And so in this scene, the actress collapses. It's the collapse of her character, Elizabeth.
Here. Okay. Where does it hurt?
My abdomen. I think I'm bleeding.
So, thank you for watching. This concludes Director Commentary 3 of the film Gulag Magadan. Once again, I am the writer-director, Michael Kingsbury, of this film, Gulag Magadan, as well as 2 other feature films on the Gulag. Gulag Barashevo of 2015 and Gulag Vorkuta of 2016. And if you like this video and you find it's interesting and thought-provoking, feel free to hit the like button on the video and subscribe. And much appreciated if you can pass these videos on